I want to share some thoughts on our latest survey of Chief Financial Officers. We've been running a survey for the last 10 years. It gives a real insight into the thinking of some of the largest corporates in the UK. What our latest survey shows is that there's been really quite a big uplift to business sentiment in the wake of the announcement of the transition deal for the UK's exit from the European Union. That was announced on the 19th of March. What we found was that Chief Financial Officers who responded to our survey after the announcement of the transition deal were much more optimistic, they were more willing to take risk, they saw lower levels of uncertainty, and actually they were much more optimistic about the long-term outlook for Brexit. So I guess from the government's point of view, the good news is that the transition deal seems to have cheered business spirit. But what we've also found is that there is a lot of concern about the weakness of the UK economy. That is the number one concern for CFOs in the UK. So the UK economy, of course, has slowed over the last couple of years into a global recovery, and that's got a lot to do with the effects of Brexit in terms of pushing down the value of the pound and squeezing consumer spending. So there's a lot of concern about the weakness of the economy, and that has had an effect on the way in which different types of companies are planning to run their balance sheets. Fascinating that UK-facing companies, those that drive most of their revenues within the UK, are much more defensive in their stance than internationally focused companies. So UK-facing companies more likely to be cutting costs and building up cash. International companies looking to grow their business, for instance, through investment, acquiring new businesses, and introducing new products, expanding into new markets. The other finding from the survey, quite interesting I think from the Bank of England point of view, is that getting on for a third of our respondents reported that they were facing skill shortages and recruitment difficulties. Perhaps not surprising, the unemployment rate in the UK is at a 43-year low. This is a tight labour market, but it's now affecting the availability of staff, and I think the signal from that is that 2018 will be a year in which wage pressures start to pick up. So overall, I think the good news is that there has been a fillip to business sentiment from the latest phase of the Brexit negotiations. Of course, this is a game which is approaching its end point. The UK and the European Union have got to strike a final deal in the coming months. That's going to go through Parliament in autumn. My guess is that business sentiment for the rest of this year is going to be very much driven by the results of those negotiations.